It seems lately that no matter where you go these days, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc., you see videos or articles on investing and making money. Whether it's crypto, precious metals, drop shipping, or affiliate marketing, the answer to all of your financial problems seems to be just a mouse click away. Of course, there is always a risk tied to any financial venture, as many quickly find out. But did you know that there is something that you can invest in right now that has been rock solid for over 100 years? What is this that I'm talking about? No, it's not another coin or stock. It's real estate. Becoming a real estate investor is by far the best risk you can take towards financial freedom or retirement. Yet, how does one get started in what appears to be such an insurmountable task? So many books, online courses, videos have been purchased and studied. What if I were to tell you that one of the best educational resources out there could very well be right under your feet? Do you own a home? Were you one of the many people who rushed out during the pandemic and bought a bigger home, taking advantage of remote work? For those of us who could, anyway. Well, I have a couple questions for you. Did you buy the home brand new, build from the ground up, or did you buy a used home? In either case, more than likely, there are some construction-related work that had to be done in order for that house or condo to be more like, home. Maybe it was something like opting for the bigger kitchen with the huge cooktop. All the better so you can impress your friends and family with your culinary skills. Or maybe you bought an older home and decided to knock down that wall and turn two tiny bedrooms into one fabulous master suite. Well, guess what? You have the ultimate classroom right there for the beginning your quest of becoming a real estate tycoon. If you are paying attention to the contractors and asking the right questions, you will be able to use this experience to help you build or fix and flip homes on your own. You see, the blueprint is virtually the same. By the way, if you like what you have seen so far, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Now for a little history lesson. Back in what has become known as the 2008 crash, a lot of people lost their homes along with any wealth that was tied to these. As banks too big to fail went under, so did the real estate market. You see, banks were taking on way too many risky loans as certain laws were laxed, which allowed millions of people who would normally not qualify for a mortgage to obtain one, if not several. Believe it or not, there were even many cases where stated income was used in order to qualify for some mortgages. The reasoning behind such risky investments? The employees of these banks were getting huge commissions and bonuses because, let's face it, they only get paid when a property sells and closes escrow. So the more homes that closed, the more money got made. I remember meeting a couple people who bought not only a home so as to have a place to live, but they ended up with several other homes as well. They were taking advantage of lackluster bank regulations with dreams of becoming the next millionaire real estate investor. Only one problem with this idea. These people had absolutely no idea what they were doing. They thought that simply buying a bunch of homes and maybe renting a few of them out, the money would just fall from the sky. Yet things didn't exactly work out as planned. You see, these people didn't read not one single book, engage with not one mentor, or join any real estate investment groups. They were just striking out on their own. Unfortunately, it was only a matter of time before it was discovered just how difficult it was to run a successful business without any training whatsoever. Let's face it, folks, real estate investment is a business. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can end up losing a lot of money, time, and even your entire business. But where does one start when it comes to training to become the next big real estate investor? Well, one way to learn is by watching videos on YouTube, such as this one. Welcome to Select TV, your go-to guide for successful real estate strategies. Don't forget to stay to the end of this video so you can discover some mistakes I made as a novice investor back before the real estate crash of 2008. Now, back to the video. And just so you're rewarded for sticking around this far, I'm going to go right into some mistakes I made during the precious gold rush for real estate investing. But first, would you like to know some of the things I got right in my endeavors? Here's number one, and I warn you, I'm going to be totally upfront and honest with you. In other words, a story will follow to explain every nuance of every success and failure that I've had during my real estate journey. Here we go. Time to buckle your seatbelts. The year was 2001, and I had just closed escrow on my home at 24 years old. I wanted my family to have a nice yard, a home in the suburbs, and all of that. Yet, deep down inside, I recognized that this was what could be called a starter home. I knew that this was an investment and I would eventually have to learn what to do with it now that I had it. I remembered those days quite fondly because I had never built a home from the ground up before. Though it was a tract home, I was able to go along with the builder in every step in the process of the build. I believe I still have the pictures laying around here somewhere, in fact, which shows the dirt lot, the framing, the drywall, etc. Anyway, I remember paying $99,000 or so for my home in sunny Southern California, and I was delighted, let me tell you. Spoiler alert, those days are long gone, and no matter what state you move to now in the United States, you will never see prices like that again. In fact, we're in the year 2023, and the median home price for a home is nearly a whopping $400,000. Back in 2001, when I bought my first home, the median price of a home was between $150,000 and $175,000. So you may be wondering, how did I, as a 24-year-old kid at the time, get such a great deal on my brand new home? One word: sacrifice. You see, I wanted my kids so bad to have the life I never had growing up that I was willing to do almost anything to make that happen. I knew I didn't make enough money to buy near where I worked, so I drove 2 hours outside of the major cities and bought a home there. When the home was finally built and we all moved in, I would literally drive 100 miles to get to my job every day. I would then work around somewhere between 8 and 12 hours, only to turn around and drive back to my home 100 miles away. So I literally spent a minimum of 4 hours per day in traffic. Funny thing is, I remember discussing with my coworkers my intentions to buy so far out in the middle of nowhere. They thought I was out of my mind. I remember those days. But anyway, I remember one of them making a remark that I could probably take a helicopter to work and save more on gas because of how much driving I was doing at the time. Little did any of these people know I was way ahead of the times. 10 years later, hundreds of thousands of other people started doing something similar, if not the exact same thing I had done prior. So, for the number one on the list of things I got right during my first stepping foot into the real estate market is this: I didn't follow the crowd. You shouldn't either. Try to find a niche that isn't so saturated and plant your flag there. The second thing I felt I got right during the real estate boom of the early 2000s was picking the right time to sell my starter home. I remember hiring an agent and selling it within a couple weeks for $215,000. 3 years later, I had more than doubled my investment. Of course, I had to pay my agent, but I still walked away with over $80,000 in my pocket. Not bad, huh? Anyway, the third thing I did right on time was roll some of this money I had made over into another home, i.e. another piece of real estate. The fourth successful thing I did was begin reading books on real estate and taking online courses. Carlton Sheets, Robert Kiyosaki, etc. I read many of those books on real estate and even began looking into buying investment properties. Now that you've stayed along for the ride, here are the mistakes I made during my early years of investing in real estate. Number one, you guys want to buckle up for this one. I refinanced my home. Now, why I did this? To pay down bills, pay off automobiles. I felt good having a car to drive around that I didn't have to have a car note. that I had to pay every month. I mean, I fell into that trap. What can I say? But here's the thing. When you buy an automobile, it decreases in value almost instantly. However, when you buy such things as real estate, it becomes an asset that you can use to make more money instead of depleting your pockets of it. The mistake I made was that I believed that the value of my home would continue to increase so that I could easily sell it and pay off the loan which I had refinanced. You know what? In fact, now that I recall, I believe I actually refinanced my second home twice. In fact, I have learned to never do this again. You shouldn't either, unless you're going to use the money to buy land, a home to fix and flip, or maybe put into a REIT or something. Number 2, I didn't follow through with purchasing investment property. You see, while I was in escrow for my second home, I became highly interested in investing in the Houston area of Texas. I had even gone as far as setting up a management company to manage tenants and rent, so on and so forth. I found a triplex where 2 of the units were already rented out. All I would have to do was find a third tenant for the other unit. Needless to say, I was scared off of moving forward because I was afraid that doing so would threaten the escrow process I was currently in for my place of residence. Later on, I learned, however, that you can actually be in escrow for more than one property, just as long as your debt to income ratio can sustain them all. Funny thing is, about my failed Texas investment, is my wife's cousin, whom I talked to about my investment strategies at the time. Well, he did move forward with the idea. He liked the idea so much, in fact, that he not only invested there, but he sold all his property in California and took his whole family to Texas to better keep an eye on his investment. Anyway, number 3. This is the last thing I want to mention in regards to my failures in investing in real estate, okay? I failed to get involved with other like-minded investors when I had the chance. You see, I was at my job when I overheard a group of 5 or 6 people talking about putting their money together that they're making on their job and using it to buy properties. In fact, one of the members I had known for a while, she invited me to join. Yet, for some reason, I procrastinated, and to this day, I can't remember why. Maybe I felt like I didn't have enough money or something to join. I don't know. Something like that. But I tell you what, I'm kicking myself now for being such an idiot, because everywhere you go now, groups of individuals are buying up investment properties. I missed the train on that one. Oh well. Anyway, don't forget to hit thumbs up and hit the bell to subscribe. This has been another video brought to you by Select TV, a leader in real estate investment strategies for the average Joe or Jill. Take care.